So rewind to the early days of the internet. This woman, Kristen Mahara, loved the Urantia book. A lot of people do. It's sold a lot of copies. It's a very thick 2,000-page book. And she was so devout, she wanted other people to read it who couldn't afford or maybe couldn't carry it. So she put it on the internet. Well, by about 1995, the lawsuit came up from Urantia Foundation against her saying, wait, copyright violation. Now that should be simple, right? The book was written, okay, by celestial beings, and it was distributed. People used it. It was well known. And she said, well, wait a minute. That was created by a non-human intelligence. And just like our friend Naruto the monkey, who's non-human means no copyright, according to Kristen Mahara. What she's actually saying is that since this book came from outside normal human intelligence and was delivered to the conduit and then to the people who collected it, that they did not own the copyright. The non-human entity, energy, intelligence did. How crazy is that in the mid-90s to go in with this case? And they went in with both sides agreeing that the creator, the author and ownership, very big to consider here, author and ownership. The creator was this outside intelligence. Kristen Mahara said that, and so did the Urantia Foundation. That was their basis for 80 years or so doing this stuff. So now we have an agreement. So the court says, okay, celestial beings. Now we have to make a decision. Does this apply? And their first finding was for Kristen Mahara. They said, indeed, this is an outside intelligence, like AI. This is a super intelligence. It can't be copyrighted by it. We grant it to you. But on the appeal, it became interesting because the other court on the appeal a few years later took a look at the same thing and bring this down to AI. This is really fascinating. They said that the conduit providing the information was given questions by the people and the person who has the conduit deliver the information. Therefore, there was human participation, like somebody taking a picture on a camera, right? Using it as a tool. So the conduit person, see, follow me here, he's bringing the messages and writing them. Somehow all this happens. We don't know what happened. This is just a story. But since that happened, the court said, wait, there was human involvement because the idea of authorship and ownership ties into a human being doing something. Without a human, there's nothing. And that's why AI can't even apply in this world of copyright. But on the final one, on a separate lawsuit, another company had used a big section of the Urantia book in their book. Because when people looked at the Urantia book during these lawsuits, they found, much like AI, that there was extra content padded in. One person took like what's called stylometry and found maybe 15 styles, and another person researched it and found text from 15 or 16 other sources. So basically, it was a compilation, along with whatever was happening with the channeling, which is somebody comes in, they speak or write it down, and are channeling this outer intelligence. That's, by the way, agreed upon by the court, right? When they come in. There's no argument. You're just setting the rules of the case. Okay, this is a super intelligence. Can you see why this is so amazing? And now, that was almost a finding in favor of AI. But wait, there's one more thing. Another lawsuit came with that person who was using all that content from the Urantia book, and they wanted to protect themselves. And they came in, and the finding of that judge totally took the copyright away because he said, wait for it, the conduit, the person who was receiving the message, who was kept a mystery to everyone to protect his privacy because he was so gifted, according to the Sadlers, he was the owner of the copyright since he had died, and his family, who owned the copyright after him, remember? They were the ones who had the copyright since they didn't renew it. There was no copyright. It's in public domain. You can read it today. So let's unpack this and see why this applies to AI and say, could AI even find a copyright following these two legal decisions cited in AI copyright cases?